Hello, my name is Patrice Scanlon. In this video, I will show you how to work with the Zoom web conferencing platform if you're using Logic or Pro Tools. All right, let's get Zoom launched. So 2 ways to work with this platform. You can create a new meeting or you can schedule a meeting. The cool thing about scheduling a meeting is that under the advanced options, you can say, hey, automatically record this meeting. Then you schedule it. When the invitation gets sent to your participants, they will have the option to join the session or not. They'll be warned that it's recorded. If they don't want to be recorded, they can decide to not join that session. Now, if you want to just jump into it, you can go to New Meeting, and there we are. But unfortunately, it is not automatically recording. So we need to come down here to record and select record on this computer. Just be careful, you're going to get a pretty loud voice prompt here. I'll let you hear it.
This meeting is being recorded.
Okay, and then once you stop the recording,
The recording has stopped.
right, so that can be a little jarring. Just want to prepare you guys for how that can scare you. Couple things under the preferences we should take a look at. General tab, nothing too crazy here. Video, very self-explanatory. For audio, the only thing you really need to be aware of, especially if you're working in a DAW, is you want to make sure Enable Stereo is checked. Otherwise, this will be collapsed down to mono, and that won't be very good for your Logic or Pro Tools demonstrations. Make sure to click on the Advanced button here to say Show in Meeting option to enable original sound from microphone. This will greatly improve the sound quality of the microphone you're speaking through. You have options to share your screen, options for chat. You have beautiful virtual backgrounds you can use. This one's important too, recording preferences. By default, Zoom will create a folder called Zoom in your Documents folder, and that's where your recordings will be stored. You can always choose a different location by clicking Open and driving to where you want this to be saved. If you're going to be using Zoom to record an ensemble of musicians from different locations, you could check this option here that says record a separate audio file for each participant. Optimize for third-party video editor is good if you want to edit this later on. You can add a timestamp to the recording, so in case work is looking over your shoulder, they will know you have been busy. Then record video during screen sharing. So for me, I kind of know how my students are, and this might be a bad idea because whatever's on their computer and they start sharing that with me, that will be recorded for better or for worse. So there you have it. There's our settings. Now, let's get Logic launched. Okay, so now we have Logic launched. First thing we're going to want to do is go to our audio preferences. And here, let's make sure Zoom audio device is selected for the output and input if you like. Click Apply Changes. If it is already ready to go, you don't need to make any changes there, and you can close the window. So let's say you come to the audio preferences here and you're like, Patrice, I don't see the Zoom audio device. Okay, that means that has not been installed for you. How do we get that going? So let's drive back to Zoom and let's go to this very important button called Share Screen. So you have a couple different options. You can share your desktop. You can share the edit window of just Logic. You do have a whiteboard option. You can even connect your iPhone or iPad through AirPlay or via a cable. But the most important part of this is right down here. Share computer sound. Everybody forgets to check this button. So you can select what screen source you want, but if you just hit share and you did not click share computer sound, you're not going to get anything you're doing in your DAW streamed into the Zoom platform. So make sure share computer sound is checked. The first time you click share, if the Zoom audio device driver is not already installed, it will prompt you to install it. Of course, if you have any of your DAWs open, you're going to want to quit, restart, just to make sure that device pops up. So here we go. I'm just going to go from the desktop. I've got my share computer sound on, and I can hit share. So from here, we've got this green line here around, yeah? That's letting me know everything within that box is being recorded. So if we go back to New Share and go to the Advanced tab, you can actually record just a portion of the screen. And this is all movable. You can change how big or small that is. So that's kind of a nice feature too. So that's what is being shown through your Zoom stream, and that is what will be recorded. So everything outside of that won't be. Other options, computer sound only, and if you do have a second camera, you can actually go from there. Now, this iPhone, iPad, let's take a look at this. This is kind of cool. Let me get my phone unlocked here. All right, so I'm going to click my phone and hit share. And there she is. And I can go to camera. Let's get all this stuff out of the way here. So now if I need to demonstrate a piece of gear, I can go ahead and do that. Once you're done there, we can go back to New Share, go back to the desktop. Of course, every time, let's make sure this share computer sound is checked. And then we're back to looking at my desktop. So with Logic, it's pretty darn easy. This is a 44.1 kilohertz session, and Zoom needs 48 kilohertz. Therefore, Logic is automatically doing the conversion for us. It's that simple in Logic. So let's check on this signal flow one more time. Out of Logic, through the Zoom audio device. Then let's go to Zoom. In here, right down here, you can say, select which input you want as your microphone and which output you want as your speaker. So I have an audio interface. That's why I'm using the SSL2 Plus for my speaker as well as my microphone. If you don't have an audio interface, you can use the built-in output. Preferably use your headphones because otherwise you might get feedback from the microphone and the speakers. And then for your microphone, you could select the built-in internal microphone. And it's that simple. Let's get out of Logic, and now let's get to the beast, Pro Tools. Now, when you're working with Pro Tools, your sessions are going to have to be at 48 kilohertz, not 44.1, not anything else, 48 kilohertz, because that is the sample rate that the Zoom platform is using. So let's open a session. I know this one is 48 kilohertz because I labeled it with 48K at the end. And of course, this is going to open no problem. If I go to my setup, playback engine, just make sure Zoom audio device is selected. And then you're ready to go. So you can play stuff back, you can edit, you can add plugins, you can demonstrate it all. And what's happening here, again, to go over the signal flow, the output of Pro Tools is going to the Zoom audio device. And then I have selected my microphone going through my SSL so I can talk over what I'm doing. And I will monitor back through my SSL through my headphones. So there is a bit of a latency because this is going through Zoom and then I'm hearing it. Doesn't bother me at all though. It's really not noticeable. If your Pro Tools session is already at 48 kilohertz, this is a very simple process. If your sessions are at 44.1 kilohertz, you're going to have to do some prep work before you get onto the Zoom session live. So what does that look like? Let's find a session I have that's at 44.1. So that would be in here, here, and this one here. Let's go with the first one. So current playback engine does not support sample rate of 44.1K. Okay, so there's no way you can open the session with that playback engine selected. So here we go. You guys ready? Go to Setup, Playback Engine. Switch the playback engine to built-in output or something that can handle opening a 44.1K session. We'll click OK. That was the last session I just opened, so I can use my key command. And now my 44.1K session is opening beautifully. So what do we got to do now? We got to do a save copy in. This is the only way to change the sample rate of a session in Pro Tools once the session is already created. So we're going to switch that to 48 kilohertz. Items to copy, audio files, and convert to specified format will automatically be checked for you. And so when I click OK here, it's now going to convert those 44.1K audio files to 48K. All right, so let's give this a name. And just so I know what's going on here, I'm going to add 48 kilohertz to the end of the file name. So this way here, when I'm ready to open a session in a live discussion, I can just look and see that 48K tag there, and I will know, hey, this is going to work with Zoom. So now that that's done converting, we are still on our source session. We are not on the session we just did a save copy in of. So we must go and find that session that we just created. For me, I happen to put it in here. There it is, my 48K. Go ahead and open that. Don't need to save what I did before. If we go to session setup, you can double check that this is a 48K session. And the last step, go back to setup, playback engine, set it back to the Zoom audio device. Oh, wasn't that fun? So again, you're going to have to do some prep work here. But better you know this now and don't have to scramble around doing this in front of clients or your students. When we are done with our session, you will stop your recording. Once you're done with everything, you can end your meeting. Once you end the meeting, it'll ask you to rate your experience, and then it will convert the file and it will show up on your computer. So I did one yesterday and it was about 9 minutes long, and we're looking at about 41 megabytes of space. Let's take a look at this folder while we're here, right? Documents, Zoom, and each of my sessions I recorded show up here. If you go to audio record, here are all the separate audio streams. Here is an audio only file, so that's going to compile all audio streams into one file. And finally, the MP4 file will marry the video and audio together for you. Let's say you have a student or client who can't attend the live session. Well, you can record that session and then post this so that student could catch up on the information. Only problem is they're not going to be able to interact, ask questions, but at least they're getting some of the information instead of none. I hope this was really helpful for you. If you have any questions, hit me up.